friends, it's Brittany at Get Papyrus and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited you're here with me today because we are going to be making these adorable junk journal mason jar charms. They are so easy to make, they can be customized in so many different ways, and they are so much fun. They can be clipped to your journal, to a tassel, to the extra cording at the bottom, or used in page layouts.
So as you can see, I made my mason jars different shapes and sizes. I was going for smaller mason jars. You can make these any size you want and they don't have to be uniform. You may be asking, well, why didn't I just use a die cut or something like that? That's fun too, but I like the hand drawn look, the hand created look, and they're just more options for customization in terms of the size of the mason jar you're using. The only sort of thing I would point out was if you don't like the pencil lines, all you have to do is go over them with a dark pen, or you could use a metallic pen, something that will cover up the pencil lines. You could paint with the darker paint around them. I was just, after I cut mine out, I just go around it with this black pen you see here, and all is right. I would definitely recommend drawing the basic structure before you try and do anything else. So let me show you how easy this is. If you don't think you can draw, it's totally okay. I promise you can do this. So all we're gonna do is create the lid, and we're gonna go around, and there's so many ways to customize these lids, but just make kind of a cylindrical shape. And I usually like to add a couple layers to my mason jars. I think it just makes them look a little bit more like mason jars. And then we're just gonna, this is the part that always trips me up personally, but I start just a little bit inward from the lid and kind of make it sink in a little bit, and then start going out. And you can see they don't look exactly symmetrical. Okay, you can see this line's a little bit longer. If you are a perfectionist, you could take this up and kind of make a dot with your ruler where your jar is going to flare out, but I'm not that precise. So I usually just, I'll erase it if I'm not exactly digging it. And it's okay. I think these are meant to be really fun and whimsical, so if they're not, perfect, it's okay. They're still gonna look amazing. And then kind of make it curl in at the bottom. Okay, so let's do another one. And you don't have to use white paper. I think painting these with watercolors looks amazing. I think especially when you're able to kind of bleed the colors in and you leave a little white space, it gives the jars dimension as opposed to them looking flat. That's why I like painting these with watercolor, but you can do this on any paper you want. You could do it on already decorated paper. The other thing I was thinking of is if you have any gold foil paper, actually making a gold foil lid and then gluing it to the mason jar you have already created would be really, really fun. I'm also going to show you a couple options for decorating the lids aside from just adding little creatures like I did in my previous example. So let's make a lid that's a little bit different. And maybe we're gonna have this mason jar be a little bit bigger. This one is gonna have a little bit of a hinge to it. Okay. And we're gonna come down like this. And then one more layer. See how easy that was? I can't draw, and look. Maybe this one will kind of flare out a little bit at the bottom. Okay, I like that, okay? It's a little too much flare, but with the stroke of a pencil, we have fixed it. Okay, now let's do a taller one. Guys, this is so much fun. Once you think of all the different things you can put inside, you're not gonna want to stop making these. These are so cute. Okay. Maybe we start a little like right here. Oops. A little too dramatic of a flare out. Oh, I always have a hard time drawing this the opposite side for a reason. There we go. See? Now see, that has a little like boot to it, so I just erase it and do it again and have it meet. Look, I love that. I like the structure of that. Okay. And let's draw one more together, and then we're gonna get on to painting and decorating them. I have a lot of ideas for us. The best way to customize these, aside from making them different shapes and sizes, is just customizing the lid. It seems really simple. The other thing I wanted to do, I wanted to, for one of these, add like a little bit of a fabric hangover, kind of like you see like mason jars screwed on with that little bit of fabric. So I'm gonna we can simulate that with some ruffles. Maybe just remind ourselves this is the one we want to add fabric to. And maybe for this one we'll make it kind of like a square jar. I think that's gonna be really cute. Okay, so what do you say? So before we cut these out, we're going to paint them. I think it's easier to paint them, cut them out, and then leave just the slightest little bit of white space and then go over it with a black pen. Okay, so grab your paints if this is how you're choosing to make your jars. Okay, if you are using already decorated paper, that's okay. You can totally skip this step. All right. So in general, I tend to paint the lid and the jar a different color. That's just my personal preference. Think about what you may want to decorate your jars with. I know I have some stamped seashells I want to put in a mason jar, so I think I'll probably put them in this. So I think I'll want to get like a teal going. Remember to leave white space. Kind of have some that look a little bit, some areas that look a little bit darker than others. You can pull it up, maybe leave a little white space in here as well. And then I think I'm just going to use this brown. I think this will look beachy. Okay. All right, beautiful. Okay, and then let's do a pink one. I think I might want to do a floral or maybe some fruits. See how just bleeding in a little bit of a different color gives it some dimension and interest before you even ever decorate or put anything else in the jar. So I think this one this one's gonna have a red lid. And the lids don't have to be uniform, you could use different colors. If you go outside the lines, that's okay, because if you're going to be cutting these out, so if you let the colors bleed together a little too much and it goes everywhere, that's okay. This one I'm just adding a couple different colors. Oh well, it's okay. Nice. All right, so we have ourselves some jars. I know they don't look like anything special right now, but we're gonna cut them out in a few minutes and get to decorating them. And I think you're absolutely gonna love this. While these are drying, if you want to gather up, like I was saying, whatever you want to put in your jars, glitter thread looks really cute. If you have any pre-stamped ephemera that you either want to cut out to decorate to put on the lid or inside the jar, you can do that. Washi tape, especially smaller bits of washi tape, looks really, really nice. Gosh, the possibilities are endless. I have a pre-stamped leaf here. I also have some old seed catalogs. We can make a lemon jar, or ignore me. These are zucchinis, right? Squash, zucchinis, yes. So if they're small enough to kind of, and you don't mind fussy cutting them out, that could look really nice. I have these little bitty plants and herbs that could really look nice in your mason jar. Oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. If you want to dig out some fabric to decorate the top and kind of make it look like there's fabric overlying the lid, we could do that. Grab some of that. And then I have little ties, some little bedazzled things that we can decorate the lids with. We can create little tags to label the mason jars with. Basically, any way you want to customize this, have at it. This is meant to be a lot of fun. And so grab your stuff. We will cut these out once they dry and we will get to decorating. When you're cutting these out, you're going to want to leave the smallest little bit of white space. And this makes it easier to go over your pencil lines with a black ink pen or a charcoal pen. But aside from that, you're gonna cut these out just like you would normally fussy cut anything. I guess this is the advantage of using die cuts for those of you who absolutely hate fussy cutting, but all in all, it's a pretty easy process. There's not a whole lot of cutting to be done. So I cut a couple extra mason jars out in addition to the ones we painted together. I had drawn and painted a couple more on my own, so now we have plenty of jars to decorate and I can just spill out a bunch of my decoration ideas. So my gosh, all right, so to start, let me just show you the basic premise of hiding these pencil lines and just, I think going over your pencil lines with this darker colored marker gives the mason jars more depth, and it just kind of adds some little extra detail. Okay, so let's get to decorating. What do you say? So I cut out the little seashells, as you see here. That might be a little bit hard to see. You can see them up close there. I use like a very silvery, shiny ink. They look magnificent up close, but first I want to give these, I love giving these like some texture and dimension, and this is a perfect, I don't know about you guys, but I always have all this glitter sitting around and I don't really use it because, you know, it's like, I'm just like, oh, it's child's play, but I'm telling you, this is a perfect project for glitter. So this is the easy way I like to glitter things. Grab your paper, get some wet either silicone or wet white glue, and I'm just gonna layer some here to kind of mimic the sand. Okay, just mimic the sand. I'm gonna regret opening this because I'm not gonna be able to close it, but oh well, such is life. Now it's already done, it's open, so we're gonna go for it. All right, and just layer. And it's okay, we can get it back in the bag, so don't have to be too stingy with it. It's still probably gonna get everywhere as glitter does, but that's okay. I like adding little sparkles to things. That's the only thing you're gonna end up with glitter on your desk for days. Oh, I like the way that mimics sand. Okay, once we have that, oh, but I didn't leave myself an opening big enough to pour it back in. Hold that thought, because I will have to open this whole thing. All right. So we have our bag open, and we're just gonna use this to create a funnel. Sounds so easy and dirty, doesn't it? And get it back in our bag. All right, I think I got the majority of it. I'm gonna leave this on my desk. I'm not even gonna try and put this back away. Okay. So now we have this, and I'm gonna glue down our shells. The one thing we could do, maybe I'll emphasize these by adding, just inking around with a little bit of brown, because the shells are very light. I want them to stand out against the blue. I don't want them to be hidden. They're beautiful and they deserve their moment in the spotlight. Okay. There we go. Now they're a little bit easier to see. The other thing I like doing is sometimes it looks more realistic if you cut off the item. So if you were to just cut this off, yeah, let me show you. Cut this off just like this. Okay. And then you have it abutting against the jar, just like that. I think it just makes it look more realistic, and again, gives it a little bit more dimension. All right, and one more to ink. And then I have a really cute little tag we're gonna give our mason jar, because that's another way that we can customize these and make them look very, very, very cute. All right, so I'm just gonna put some glue down. We're gonna glue our shells down. I think this may be one of my favorite jars. I love the ocean. I love seashells. I love everything about these. You know, this came to me, the idea for this project, because I was initially thinking about making some fairy charms to stick in my journal, and I was thinking about, like, what if we put I was thinking of a fairy in a jar, but then I was like, well, maybe I'll put the fairy on top and just have a jar of like magical dust, and the idea kind of evolved from there. I have so many more project ideas rolling around in my head right now for like how to customize these jars. Okay, I think now is probably the perfect time to punch our hole and set our eyelet. I have the Crocodile 2 right here. Maybe I'll put that shell aside. Okay, these eyelets are a little bit larger than I would like, but the color matches perfect, so I'm gonna go for it. You can either put it right over the lid or to the side, whatever you're feeling. And then we're just gonna set our eyelet. Oops. Make sure your eyelet's centered right over the nipple there. Okay. And I brought my hot glue gun out because I wanted to create this little tag for our mason jar. So I was thinking I'll just put a stream of glue right around like this and just let the tag hang down just ever so slightly. Yeah, I think that'll look nice and probably secure it just like that. Okay. This takes just a minute to heat up. It heats up really fast, which I really love that about this glue gun, though it leaks like a sieve once it's on, which I don't love so much. So, okay. See what I mean? Sorry, leaking. Just leaks and leaks and leaks and leaks. Alright, let's get that down before it dries. Maybe I'll put one over the eyelet and one under. Kind of what I'm thinking. Oops. Did that dry on me? Just this little bit. Don't make it too thick. Alright, I'll set that just like that. And of course we'll cut off the excess. We're going to wrap this around the eyelet. Just like that. I got a little bit of hot glue where I did not want it. Oh, this hot glue gun, I gotta invest in a better cordless. I love the prospect of a cordless glue gun. Like, it's amazing from that standpoint, but it does not, I don't know. It's just like I said, once you turn it on, it just leaks everywhere. Okay. And there's no like control over it. It just, once you hit that trigger, it's all coming out, baby. Need the big guns for this. I love this. This is so cute. All right, and then I have a charm situated on my jump ring. I need to get a ball pin. Again, this part is optional. If you don't want to hang this by anything, you don't have to. Gonna put your ball pin through here. Well, it matches the eyelet perfectly. That was not planned, but a very welcome surprise. Close that. Oh wow, this is too cute. I have a beach journal that's like jam-packed full of stuff, but you know, there's always room for one more thing. Maybe I just need to start another beach journal. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I need to find a word to go on this tag, and I think this tag will be complete. I actually have some words next to me, or like a postage stamp. What do I have? Explore, sunshine. That would work. Beautiful, summer, how about memories? Like memories of going to the beach. There's some of my absolute fondest memories. Absolutely adore the beach. And I have a really nice glue stamp. I think this will show up very good. Now your jars don't have to be as intricate as this. They can be very simple, like that thread one I just showed you. All it is just jumbled up thread, and yeah, like somehow it's still absolutely precious. Oh, perfect. I was worried I was gonna mess that up. Oh my gosh, I have so many supplies out right now. It's kind of overwhelming, but look how precious. Oh my gosh. Guys, look. Okay, for our next jar, remember the little squiggly ones the squiggly one I knew I wanted to put a fabric little cover over? All you have to do, guys, is just cut out triangles. Look at this. You're literally just going like this. So it doesn't leak out, but you can only do so much with this contraption here. Oops. What do you think? Yeah, one more. I'm gonna turn you off. Okay, this is pretty darling. Do we want to add anything else to the lid? I didn't get rid of my pencil marks. I'm always like 2 steps ahead and 3 steps behind, if you know what I mean. The other thing I was thinking about is, because I was thinking about what if we do a paint jar? But just painting it is really flat, so it probably wouldn't look like there's any paint in it. But what if we were to drip some nail polish on it? I think that might look spectacular. Look bad. This is really, really cute. Oh my gosh, guys, is this not the cutest little thing ever? Look. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I love this button mason jar. Oh my gosh. See? Pick up a couple like little objects around you and you can make a mason jar out of it. Especially if you don't, like I said, especially if you're going to pin this to something and you don't have to worry about it bulking up your journal. I would love to make a bunch of mini of these and make a tassel out of it. maybe we should do that. Okay, maybe in a future project. Let's get to working on another mason jar. Okay, so I have to tell you, I think I'm gonna show you about the cutest thing ever. Brace yourselves. Okay, you fellow dog lovers will love this. So I do make kind of scrapbooks slash memory books for my dog. Here, I will get rid of these pencil lines while we're talking. And I have some mini dog bone confetti that I punched out for a different project, and I went way crazy with it and have way too much. And why don't we make a dog bone treat jar? I am so excited about this. I will probably pin this to his journal. Though this probably will be flat enough that I could put it inside in a page layout if I wanted. So let me show you. Let's see how this turns out first, and then I'll decide what I want to do with it. Okay, oh my gosh guys, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so first of all, I found this little thing. I could think I got him on AliExpress as like a topper. I thought these were like beads when I ordered them, or something you could string something through, but they're not. But this works perfectly. So I'm just gonna add him as a topper. And then I have all this dog bone confetti. So, and I actually have this. I'm wondering if I should put this on first to kind of go around the mason jar with. You know what? I have another one of those tags that we used for the shell one, and I want to put my dog's name on it. Signify it as being his TREAT jar, and I spell that out because he is sitting in the room with me and I don't want him to go ballistic while I film. Okay, this is gonna be so cute. And you don't have to wrap it around like I did before. You could do that. You could kind of loop it like this, which is what I think I'm gonna do here. Okay, turn this on and forgot, and it's leaking again. And it's gold, so I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna cover it up with this little pepperoni here anyways. Those of you who don't love dogs like me, I'm sorry, you're probably not necessarily getting some of the dog lingo references, or don't care to. This one is not for you, but you could do the same thing with like a candy, if you have an image of like chocolate, something like that. Oh yeah. This is going to be absolutely precious. Okay. Get lots of glue on there. Okay. I don't mind that some of it's seeping out. We'll kind of make it, work it into the decoration there and just kind of embrace it. Okay, maybe a little too much gold gluage, but oh well, it is what it is at this point. What we could do is, yeah. I have these little stamped hearts. I think I will just cut one out and put it on the tag. So this might be a little time consuming to get these bones on. If it is, I'll shut the camera off and do the rest of it off camera, so you guys don't have to watch me do the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, it's gonna be so cute. Glue. I don't know if it's better to just glue, probably better to just glue directly on the jar as opposed to gluing the little bones. I think I might drive myself crazy. So I'm going to steer clear of the yellow bones. I'm just gonna repeat this process until the jar is full. Oh my gosh, guys, look! I finished putting the bones in the mason jar and I set the eyelet. And I think I'm just gonna put a couple of seed beads on there because I had a dog charm and stuff, but I felt like it kind of took away from the topper. And I don't want to do that. Darling, darling, darling. Okay. And then we just have to write Mr. Dale's name on the tag. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to use this. Okay. Set those aside. And where's my black pen? Here. Alright. Just gonna write D A L E. Mr. Dale. Oh my gosh. Guys, I am obsessed. So I have a couple of these. Again, I have a ton of like supplies that I don't use all that much aside from maybe decorating covers because it bulks the journal up, even though I love these supplies. But that's how you kind of get around it, right? Doing projects like this that you can physically put on your journal or use as charms so it doesn't add any bulk. Okay. And we didn't, maybe I want to do a couple other things. Maybe we'll try a couple of different techniques in one jar. So we already used stamped ephemera. We used some punch outs. We added some buttons. We used some glitter. I think we need to put in these butterflies and decorate a scene with washi tape. Okay. And we need some flowers in there too. And make them varying heights. I think that also gives it adds a little interest. My gosh, guys, these are so much fun. This is one of my favorite projects I've made in a while, I have to tell you. Drop me a comment, guys. What do you like more? Are you looking for more journal with me videos where we go through the process of page layouts? Are you more into learning how to create embellishments like these? Tell me, what are you feeling these days? I'd love to hear from you. I read all your comments. And some of like my best ideas, I swear, have come from you guys for projects you want to see or ways that I can fix my projects, challenges that have come up. You guys are great for that. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to. I guess you don't have to fussy cut this out, but I really want I don't want it to look like it's just a blob of something in the jar. So I'm just gonna cut around these petals. Not doing a very good job. But the magazine paper is kind of frail, so I'm trying not to rip it. Okay. Let me just put it out just like that. Just like that. Alright. Time to fire up that contraption again, that darn hot glue gun. Alright. Well, this is gonna be cute. I also still have that burlap. Why don't we add some burlap or some ribbon to this jar. Ooh, oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah. It's kind of unraveling, but I think it adds to the magic of it, don't you? I think so. Oops. Well, now it's unraveling a little bit too much. You know, it's like when you see those brilliant people, they get a little crazy and they go off the deep end. There's a fine line between genius and nut. I don't know where that came from. Okay. I feel like that burlap is not staying together well. Alright, I'm going to decorate a couple more off camera to hopefully give you some more decoration ideas, and then I will show you at the very end my whole collection of mason jars. So these are the ones that we made on camera together or that I had used as prototypes, and as promised I have a couple more that I made off camera to show you. Let's take a look at these. Guys, these are stunning. I can't wait to use these in my journals. And I have a few other mason jars left over I will decorate later. Maybe I'll do some more off camera in an upcoming video. I'll just show you the extra that I made. I had a couple of new ideas I kind of wanted to stew over. This has to be my favorite one of all. This is my dog's treat jar that I'm going to put on his memory book. If you guys are interested in seeing a flip through of his memory book, can you let me know in the comments? I'm not sure how many of you have dogs or if you would appreciate it, or you know, if it would be boring to you guys, but just let me know. A button mason jar. This is absolutely precious. A little sunflower mason jar with a little fabric across. A ladybug mason jar. This is very basic but absolutely adorable. A little thread mason jar. Maybe I should have put a couple of like a button or a seed bead in there. I can still do that off camera. Okay. This has to be my second favorite, the beach themed one with the shells and the glitter is sand. Absolutely gorgeous. The little birdie. And then the snowflake one, which I told you, come Christmas time, we're definitely going to make Christmas snow globes instead of mason jars. Okay, the ones I made off camera, I had a couple other ideas. So this was a fabric swatch mason jar. I had a little bit of the like sari silk here and some different laces and stuff, and just embellished with this beautiful gold. I don't even know what this is. It's absolutely gorgeous though. So I thought it fit to put on the top of the mason jar. You know those stickers that you get that come in the whole pack that are kind of like transparent around the edges? I often get mine from AliExpress. Well, I got a whole pack of them and I thought these are perfect. If they're too long, your jar is small, you can just cut it off, cut the stem off. But I used one more of my butterflies and then took the tag and just stamped sunshine on there. I think the burlap and this material just gives it some extra oomph. Okay, and then I broke out one. You guys know I love crafting with seed catalogs. I broke out one of my seed catalogs and found, I think I showed you guys the zucchini in the beginning. And so I fussy cut 2 of them out. And this was actually left over from one of the flowers, the little stem. And so I just made it as if it were like a sign for the plant. That's the actual name of the plant, Sunburst, from the seed catalog. And just sewed on a little bit of this leaf trim. This is pretty cute. Okay, and then last but not least, I took my seed beads and just put them in a jar. So this is a seed bead jar. And I just tied a little bow on top, just to be extra fancy. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This was so much fun. I absolutely loved making these. And maybe we'll have to, like I said, the Christmas snow globes, maybe we'll have to make a similar style project, but just with a little bit of a different flair. If you enjoyed that, if you enjoyed this, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you the next time.